Hello, everyone, and welcome to Art Night. Pretty special evening, usually, but then again, I truly just really enjoy Art Night. I enjoy spending this time with all of you, and I have way too much fun. When it comes to painting, when it comes to sharing, when it comes to all of this. So welcome to Art Night. Little sip. If this is your first Art Night, we're going to be having some fun. I'm going to be doing some painting. Welcome. If you're returning to Art Night, welcome. We're going to be having some chat and doing some painting. And tonight's going to actually be a little bit special, a little bit different. I'm going to be attempting to paint an homage to a number of different characters from my books and stories. And I'm going to kind of homage and then combine into a singular piece to capture that spirit, that fun, that wonder. And I really hope that it's as enjoyable for all of you as it is for me. I don't know, I feel like this is going to be a whole lot of fun. Now, first off, let me go ahead and give you a visual descriptor. I have long brown hair, glasses, I have this nice dark red lipstick, which one of my best friends got for me. A silver bracelet, I'm wearing my chainmail, a black tunic, and a belt. And we are here in this wonderful studio space, my studio and library space, where I do most of these streams from, where I join you most weeks. I know we just did Art Night last week. Yeah, we just did it last week. And we're doing it again because it's so much fun. It is. It's just so much fun. I enjoy it, and I hope that all of you enjoy it. And, so, let's just go ahead. And you're going to see somewhere nearby, it could be in the description, it could be in the chat, depending on where you're joining me. You're going to see some wonderful links where you can subscribe and follow me on Twitch, find me on Twitter, on Instagram. You can check out my website, and I'm sharing links today to two of my newest stories that are available on Kindle Vella. Hello over there on Twitch. I'm so glad that you've decided to join us for a wonderful evening. I know that things in your area of the world have been hectic, so I'm so glad you can join us. Hectic isn't even the right word. That's not the right word at all. But thank you for being here. You know what? Sometimes our intro is awesome, and sometimes it's even better. But I do have a lot to do. A lot to share. So, definitely, and I'm going to be sharing them again later. Click on those links. Follow me over on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram. Check out my website and check out my new books. And we're going to start doing a wonderful homage painting. But I'm doing it in a landscape, number one. So let's get that out of the way right now. We're doing a landscape painting instead of the portrait style I normally do, which is awesome. It's fun. It's different. Let's do something different. Oh, and, it's just, I want to have fun. I want to have fun with all of you. I want to have a good time. I'm so glad that it's Art Night again. I have a lot of fun on Art Night. Now, one thing that I did before the stream is I've actually put some pencil line, which you probably can't see. There's already some pencil line because I wanted to kind of plan out and block out slightly what I'm doing today. And we're going to see how well we can follow along with that, and at the same time what we discover, what we create, and what we make along the way. And a quick note before I forget, I do have captions available, so if you need those, they should be there. And let's go ahead, let's get some paints. Feel free to, share anything interesting going on with you in the chat. Feel free to ask questions. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to grab a brush. And, we're going to start playing. I can't help it, I got the big 2-inch brush already. I'm just making sure the bristles are all nice. I'm going to do that next to the microphone. You just kind of test the bristles. I don't know how that sounds like, and if that's really loud, I apologize. But I'm testing my bristles, and I'm just making sure we're clean and mobile. When you are painting, it's always a good idea to check to make sure that you don't have hard brushes, that they're not gunked up, that you cleaned them properly. I've been doing a lot of painting videos and things lately, so I gotta stay on top of cleaning my brushes. And I'm going to start off, even though we haven't begun painting, I'm going to start off by reminding you to clean your brushes. Clean your brushes. Make sure that you're getting that done on a regular basis. Alright? It's going to be my good bit of advice for everyone today. Make sure you're cleaning your brushes. Okay. Now, where do we begin? Well, I'm actually going to begin in a slightly different way than normal. So first, I'm going to lift this up. I want to lock this into place. I want to make sure that I can get to everywhere on my canvas I want to be. And let me talk to you a little bit as we begin everything. And the very first paint I'm going to be using, I'm actually going to be using a Parrot Blue from Apple Barrel. I'm going to put that up over here. Hopefully you can see it. This is a Parrot Blue from Apple Barrel. And I highly recommend Apple Barrel paints. They're wonderful, and I really like this this Parrot Blue. And that's 21185E Parrot Blue. It's just a nice color. Oof. A little bit of blockage in that tube. So I'm going to actually talk to you for a moment about what this homage to my characters is. And I'm going to try to encapsulate a few characters and a few character concepts into one piece and into what's going to be one... That sounded hilarious. I bet it did. I bet it sounded really hilarious. Oh. But yeah, I'm going to try to create this homage. And there's 3 characters that I'm going to be pulling on from inspiration to create this. Let's actually... So I'm going to be pulling on inspiration from 3 of my characters. And the characters I'm pulling on for inspiration are Kindly, Kitty Ram, and Ruby. Let me tell you a little bit about them. They're very different from each other, first off. They are not as similar as one might assume, considering I'm being inspired pulling that inspiration from them. They're not as similar as one might assume. But let me tell you a little bit about them. So first off, let's talk about Kitty. Now, Kitty is actually one of the star characters from my new Kindle Vella series, 30 Days in the Apocalypse with Dr. Ciencio Magnifico. And Kitty, well, Kitty is an internet celebrity, but she's a small one. And she's really someone who aspires to be a big or a famous content creator. But of course, she exists in an apocalypse. So things are a little bit different in regards to how she approaches the concept of content creation. First off, content creation for Kitty is a lot of apocalypse activities. She still does live videos, and she still does live streams and has social media content. But one thing that Kitty has to do is she has to engage in things like fighting zombies, and she makes videos about it. And she gets product endorsements from bandages and and like weapons and shoes, and she shows them off in videos, kind of the same way a lot of content creators would do, but she does it well, fighting zombies and monsters and things like that. She's got a lot of aspiration and a lot of personality. But Kitty is only one person we're taking inspiration from. We are also taking inspiration from a couple other characters, so let's talk about them. Now we're going to talk about, and I'm just going to keep making art, and hopefully I can get, like, my paint is not cooperating. I'm about to get some black here, and apparently I'm not using black because it doesn't want to cooperate. Doesn't want to cooperate. So what will we use in place of black? Somewhere I know I have like a really nice brown, actually. So I'm going to grab this nutmeg brown, also from Apple Barrel. It's a 20521E. So this is a nutmeg brown. We're actually going to grab this. That'll be fun. It's kind of warm. A warm nutmeg brown. So let's get this. We're going to use this color. Alright. And yeah, I'm just going to keep painting as I talk to you, because I really have kind of an idea and a concept that I'm working in. Getting an homage to these characters, and not just, as characters, but as what they are representative of. Ooh, we're going to pull this forward. I'm going to hold the canvas. Sometimes you're going to need to do things like manipulate your canvas. Thank you. Isn't it nice? Isn't it? It's not super warm, but it has just enough earthiness to it, I think. We're going to call it that, earthiness. And I'm going to go ahead, I'm just going to pick my canvas right up and get it off the, get it right off the easel. There we go. So that's nice, right? It's a nice, earthy, nice, warm, soft brown. And it has a lot to really offer us. But, so that's just a little bit of that. We got that on there. I'm not going to clean off this brush too much just yet because I'm actually going to be using it. So I'm just going to keep it here. Keep it aside. I want that brown for later. Now, let me keep talking though. Let me keep telling you about these marvelous people that I created for my stories, these three women, and why I kind of want to pay homage to them. Now, two of them are main characters. One is also a main character, but a main character in a vast array of characters. But let me finish off talking for a moment about 30 Days in the Apocalypse. Just so you know, I'm about to use some Prussian Blue Hue. This is a Liquitex ink, Prussian Blue Hue. I'm going to hold that up to my other camera. Let me make sure that's in shot. But this is Prussian Blue Hue. And this is a Liquitex ink. And I'm actually going to start putting in some of the rough blocking for our character that I'm going to put in here. These are really thin, and I'm just going to use this to start establishing my base color for our character who's going to appear here. Now, 30 Days in the Apocalypse, of course, is... well, it's a science fiction, it's a dystopia, but it's also a form of satirical comedy. And actually, to get this ink on here, I'm going to use this number 2 flat brush, very small number 2 flat brush, because I don't want this ink going anywhere than where I want it. I want it to be just a few places. So 30 Days in the Apocalypse is a satirical comedy. Some people would call it sort of a black comedy because it's a comedy that deals with a number of real-world and very serious issues. But it is handled with an action comedy concept. Yes, definitely you're going to want to have... oh, let me just address that. You definitely are going to want a wide range of brush sizes. You're going to need as many different sizes as possible, but I recommend that everyone have a 2-inch or a 3-inch brush for so many purposes, almost no matter what kind of painting you're doing. And if you could have like a 2 to a 3-inch brush, a 1-inch brush, and then a variety of small brushes, I think you'd actually be pretty well set for most starting and painting, and for most really basic work, and also advanced work, because you don't need 1,000 brushes. I know that there's people out there who have like thousands and thousands of brushes, and I also know that there's people who spend a lot of money on their brushes, but if you have a nice, sturdy 2 to 3-inch flat brush, at least one 1-inch brush, and then a handful of different smaller brushes, you actually would be well covered for almost anything you need to do. Now, just so I don't forget where I am, first I'm actually going to be outlining what's going to be like a pair of legs. Just starting to get our shape in here. You can be really rough when you start to do the first stages because we're going to be doing a lot of painting over top of this. Actually, I want to establish a few kind of concepts within the apparel now. So we're going to put some pockets on here. Some back pockets. Kind of low riding. Make these have a very distinct feel to them. Now I'm going to darken in right here because this is going to be where some of my shadow is. So I'm going to darken that. Darken here. Build in a little bit there. And here. Now, one of the fun things about inks is you have a lot of freedom because some of them dry much lighter than when they're first applied. So that's going to be something that we're going to enjoy here, is getting a really dark starting color, and we're going to be able to layer this up over time. Alright. Now, I like that I can do a satirical comedy. If you haven't read any of my work, that is perfectly fine. But I would like to say that, you know, I'm aware I do a lot of really dark material, and it's not for everyone. It is not for everyone. So being able to pull something like 30 Days of the Apocalypse out and put that into my released works, it's a fresh, interesting, and new way to explore my fiction, which I really enjoy. In case you're wondering, I'm actually starting to add in some details of what's going to be the upper body here. But I don't want this dark color everywhere. I actually only want it in very specific places. Developing my shapes early on. I'll set this down. But yes, I really am liking that I get a chance to explore something different and do new things. As a creator and as an artist, that's just a huge part of what I do, is explore, create, look into new concepts. And really try to get the most out of, like, everything I'm doing. Everything I'm doing. Let me keep talking. That way we don't lose where we are. And I'm going to go ahead, start finding my next colors. One of my next ones is going to be a bright magenta here, because I'm actually going to lay in our character's hair. I know there's not a lot yet here, but I'm going to start to do that. And so, let me continue onward. And this bright magenta is also from Apple Barrel. It's 20591E. I'm going to hold that up for everybody. 20591E. It's a bright magenta from Apple Barrel. So one of the... Oh, that color that I just had. So this is bright magenta. And it's from Apple Barrel. This is a bright magenta. There we go. Let me just hold it up again, and then I can give off the color code one more time. I don't know if you can actually read that. It's out of focus. I can see that. But it's bright magenta. 20591E. Awesome, good. And I'm going to use a number 2 round brush as I begin shaping what's going to be eventually the character's hair. I actually want to do the character's hair before I start putting down more colors, because I'm going to end up with 3 different color tones to create the hair. Now, the other character that I'm really diving into to create this homage piece is Kindly. Now, Kindly is the primary character and protagonist of Kindly Can We Go. Kindly Can We Go is a really fun story for me so far. Number one, I'm getting the ability to explore new character concepts. Number two, I get to explore friendship and ideas like that within the story. But I also get to explore a character that I think in many ways is representative of a lot of people. Primarily people who have trouble in regards to maintaining friendships, having those various interpersonal relationships, and also have trouble with defining boundaries. Hey over there, how you doing today? So Kindly is a really fun character, really interesting. She's got a lot of different layers to her personality, and she's also a self-sabotaging individual. And I think that that is one of the highly relatable qualities, because let's be fair, who doesn't occasionally do a little bit of self-sabotage, or who hasn't struggled with it before, right? All right. So I'm going to let that. Doing wonderful over here, absolutely wonderful. You can see we're having some fun. Welcome to Art Night. Now, let's talk about the story itself. And I'm actually going to be sharing those links again. So depending on where you're joining me, you're going to see the links for everything showing up in the chat or in it'll either be in the chat or in the description, depending on where you're joining me. But we are doing an homage painting to a few of my characters from a couple of my stories, one of my novellas, and I really enjoy this process. So thank you everybody for joining me. You know, wherever you're joining me from, thank you. Thank you so much. And yeah, to encapsulate the character of Kindly, she really is self-sabotaging. She struggles both with boundaries and with clearly defining what it is that she wants and how she's going to attain it. And of course, we covered previously a different character, Kitty Ram. And Kitty Ram is a person striving to be a minor internet celebrity. These are both interesting characters within their own stories, and we're going to get onto more of that soon. But let's actually keep working. Feel free at any point in time to ask any questions you have. I'm about to add some more brown back to this because I want to put some brown and actually create a backpack for this homage character. So I'm going to be using a number 4 angle brush. Number 4 angle brush, and I'm going to be using some more nutmeg brown, and I'm going to establish a wonderful start to what's going to be some additional details here. I want to give my character a backpack. Start putting this in. Start creating these shapes and additional details. Now I chose this angle brush because I kind of want to be able to do small strokes but also broad areas. And that's just something that I feel this is going to accomplish very well. I also want to build up some weight with it, so I'm going to make this really thick paint here. And I also want it to look like it's kind of riding really heavy. I want to enjoy a combination of both my abstract, heavy-handed action painting, as well as some wonderful character painting and character design. I think that's going to be good for that right now. But while I have this brown, I'm actually going to start to build something in the distance. I'm going to use this brown as an undertone. Way off in the distance here, I'm going to have some buildings. And I actually want to start with a brown because once I put extra color over top of them, I want them to look dark and heavy and more than a little bit industrial, you know? Worn in. Definitely want to make sure it looks like they're really far off here as best as I can. And I'm going to play with the shapes a little bit. There we go. Just a couple of buildings way off in the distance there. This painting, you know, it's a lot different than what we normally do, but it's really fun. And that is the main thing that we want to do. You know, we want to have fun. We want to have a good time. We want to really enjoy where we're at. And that's what I'm doing. Thank you. Super fun. That's what we want. That's what we want. Super fun. All right. Now I'm actually going to go back and I'm going to get some more of my Parrot Blue. And I'm going to start to put some color in. Because I want these to be denim jeans. Like nice denim jeans. And I'm going to put the Parrot Blue on them so we can start to vary the color. Oh, there we go. Another pop. Pop, pop. Whoa. And we have a cat touching wires. Stop that. So, hopefully we can just keep kitty paws out of where they don't belong. Now with that Parrot Blue, I'm going to move back to a number 2 flat brush, so a very small brush, and I'm going to start to work in some more color on these denim jeans. We already have that really wonderful dark blue here, so now let's add some of this. And of course, you know, we're not going to be satisfied with just adding blues. I'm also going to make sure that we probably layer this several times before we have a final outcome. Getting kind of thin here, and that's fine. because I actually want to get a bunch of this on here really quick. And then I'm going to come back with my ink, that dark ink I was using. I'm going to put some of that back in there on the still wet paint. Of course, these are just beginnings. We're not even close to done, so don't you worry. This is going to get a lot darker and a lot more worn in as we go. So we're not even close to done here yet. That's just some extra layer, some extra tone. As that dries, it's going to look really interesting. Get us further along with our character. I think that's something we need to do. Keep moving, keep building, keep developing our character. Alright. I'm going to let this sit and just dry for a moment before I keep going. And I'm going to start talking about the next character that this is going to be an homage to, and that is my character, Ruby. Now, why is this an homage to Ruby? Because Ruby is a mystery. Ruby shows up in the first and second book of my series, In Absentia, playing a very small role. And she is quiet. And she knows so very much. She's very young. She's very wise, though, already. And something is not quite right about Ruby. Ruby is already a very distant and very different type of person. A very unique voice. And she also is very much someone who can take control of a situation. It's that quiet strength and that enigmatic way in which she arrives in the story which makes it so interesting. It makes you want to know more about her. It makes me want to know more about her, at least. Because what is her purpose in the story? Why is she here? And where is she bringing us to? Where is she bringing us to? So In Absentia is a very much far more mature, far more heavy material than the other two stories. But I feel that Ruby has a lot in common, in a way, with Kindly and with Kitty Ram. They all represent a very strong character. They all are people that there's a lot more to them than can be read on the surface, even by those around them in the story. There's a lot more to these characters than you see at first glance. And I think that's important. I think that's incredibly important. You know, they say you don't want to have two-dimensional characters, and I don't want to have two-dimensional characters. I definitely don't. But these characters are just really interesting to me. They're really fun to develop, and they avoid a lot of the issues that sometimes come up with creating strong women characters. What do I mean by that? Uh, well, not a single one of them has a romantic side plot that's required for their story. I think that's something important in literature. You know, people take for granted that, oh, it's a story, it's a movie, it's a book, it's going to have some sort of romantic subplot, right? No, it doesn't have to, and I don't think it should have to. So there's that. Uh, Another thing which makes them very strong characters is the fact that they don't fall within those neat little guidelines for who you're supposed to be. And if you watch a lot of TV or a lot of movies or read a lot of books, you'll encounter a lot of what's called stock characters. And stock characters are just that. They seem like someone just got them off a shelf and they've stuck them into something. And I'm trying to avoid that with all of my writing, but these characters are definitely not stock characters. And I think that's an important thing in creativity, in the arts, and in our media. And I want to continue that trend and continue building unique, interesting, developed, complex characters with a large character arc. Alright, so we're about to use some carbon black, and this is from Liquitex. This is an ink. So I'm about to add some carbon black here in a couple of spaces. Appears that my neighbor's dog is feeling very barky today. So I would like to apologize for that. But I want to take a little bit of this carbon black, and we're going to add some darkness, actually, to here, which is going to be the jacket. So I'm going to darken in some areas of that now. Even though I'm not going to leave it dark like this, I want to darken some areas in right now. So this is actually going to end up our character's jacket, and I just want to start darkening it in. Gonna have to grab a little more of this carbon black. We have a lot of noise outside, and I apologize for that. You know, as they say, it happens, right? It happens. So let's actually start to add this in. I'm using another angle brush, by the way. I think I forgot to mention that, but just so you know, I'm using another angle brush. Because I like to be able to really, really get into what I'm doing and really be able to hit things with a certain amount of precision, but also be able to do large areas when necessary. Hopefully you're getting a chance to see that as we move along, how that works. Using combinations of what would be called the blade of the brush. So we're using the blade of the brush, or the angle itself, but then we're also using the edge of the brush. Now, one of the things that I'm doing with this jacket is I want to give it like a very specific style. And I'll explain that in just a second here after I get this bit done. Alright, almost there, almost there. So I'm going for a very particular style with this jacket. I'm actually trying to get that feeling almost like those 90s or 80s alternative jackets. Maybe you can see what I mean. And then actually, let me just go ahead. I'm going to put this down here. Because we're going to imply that her hand is just kind of rested against the side of her leg right there. Yeah. Maybe she's got a thumb in one of her front pockets. Maybe she's got both thumbs because of the way her elbows are bent. So she's got some thumbs in her pockets. And now I'm just going to really messy just add a little bit of this black over here. Not to the entirety of what's going to be the buildings, but I just want to get some on here so that when we come back to these, you know, there's just a dark area. And then I'm going to add a little shape there. Maybe our character has like a walking stick or something that they've just set down. Hard to say, right? Actually, I like that idea. Maybe it's a walking stick. I'm going to grab some of this brown. I'm not even going to bother to grab a different brush. I just like that idea. I'm going to add a little bit of brown right away to this. Maybe just layer some of that brown on here, like right from the get-go. I'll trim it out, but maybe it's like a walking stick or something that they've put down next to them, like stabbed into the ground or something. Yeah. I like that idea. Now I'm just going to take some of this black, and I'm about to just do this. You're going to see why I'm doing this later. But I'm just going to be really rough with the black. And I'm not actually going for like any sort of caring as far as what's going on. But I'm actually trying to establish now like a boundary line. So we're going to create our mid-ground. But I want to stay in that abstract style that I do a lot. So there we go. That's that. You know, just continue moving forward. Thank you so much. This painting might end up 2 videos, to be fair, because we have half an hour, and I know I have a lot left to do here. But I'm enjoying it, and I hope you are too. So, I'm going to go back, though, for a moment, and again, depending on if you're just joining me now, or, you know, you haven't seen these yet, I am providing links where you can go ahead and you can follow me and subscribe to me on Twitch. Follow me, that's absolutely awesome. If you subscribe, I'd be super grateful. It really helps continue creations like this, videos like this, keep going. But also, you can find me on Twitter and on Instagram, and there's going to be a link provided for my website where you can get my art, as well as links where you can read 2 of my stories, which we're making reference to today in this work. And those stories are Kindly Can We Go, and 30 Days in the Apocalypse with Dr. Ciencio Magnifico. They're very different stories, but we're doing an homage to those strong women that play front and center in those stories with this piece of artwork. Some of my paint squirts a lot. But I'm actually going to be adding some yellow flame, and this is from Apple Barrel. It's a 21474E. 21474E yellow flame. And I'm about to add some of this, which is really going to change this up. But I hope that you're liking the painting. I hope you're liking the discussion. This is just fun for me. It's amazing to be able to share this space and to have this conversation. And I'm going to yet another number 4 angle brush. So we're going to get another angle brush in here. And I'm actually going to start to illuminate our background. You'll notice I kind of left almost a circular horizon from edge to edge and around the character. And I'm going to be following that for when I put this in. And I think it's going to add a wonderful warmth and also just a visual curiosity. Like, what is this? What's going on? But just start to light up the back, right? Let's light up the back. Let's take what's more or less like a couple of stories that you could actually argue are not like the happiest stories, but also have a lot of optimism in them and a lot of wonderful thoughts like friendship and connection. So we're going to take that idea and we're going to put it in here. Now, because I'm using the angle brush, you can see I can kind of angle that edge here. But I'm filling in space between these buildings, which I'm going to go back and I'm going to do lots of work on these in a lot of different ways. And this is one of the ways that we're really cutting up our image and cleaning up our lines, right? Cleaning up all of our lines and creating a far more obvious landscape. With a lot of different direction and a lot of different color. And I'm not going to, be finished with this today. But we're going to be in a good place when we're done, I think. I think we're going to be in a great place when we're done. And actually, because I'm doing this now, it gives me a chance to start to break up this really thick, like, walking stick thing. Because that was, like, really thick, wasn't it? Outline our character with some of this. Ooh. really start to build atmosphere and setting. Now, for some of what's our character's hair, I am going over the edges because we already know what we're doing here. And if I paint over some of this, it's fine because I'm going to put it back when I come back to give even more color and definition and shape to this hair. But one of the things I'm actually going to do right now is I'm going to come in here. I'm going to start to do this. I'm really going to get right on top of what's going to be the hair, or where the hair is, because I want those dark areas already set up and underneath there. And then if I add this yellow now, it's just going to make everything pop that much more when I cover over and I add more color to the hair. Like, I really like that. That's fun so far. It's fun. It's already got a lot of detail and layer to it. Now, before I've even let that dry too much, the next color I'm going to put on here is fuchsia. So we're going to get this fuchsia, and I'm actually going to start to apply that over this wind-blown hair. And that's fuchsia from Apple Barrel 20216E. Now, it's lighter than the magenta that we used previously. But that's going to serve our purposes really well. And I'm going to be using a round brush, a number 2 round brush like I used for the hair before. But one of the reasons I'm doing this now is because we're starting to establish these like lit from behind kind of hairs. So I want to start putting that in here. And actually, if you can see, it's starting to take shape on here with the way it looks. And we're getting these wind-swept little hairs. So now it's just getting this wonderful, beautiful wind-swept hair. I like it. It's fun. It's interesting. And I'm not even going to wait. I'm actually going to apply that bright magenta really quick to a couple of these spots. Because I want to start mixing these like right now, you know? And I'm actually just going to go back and forth. I'm going to put in some really heavy strokes here on where the head is. Because I want that texture, like this is like hair. Like this is tangled. This is moving. this is doing something. And look at that. Look at that already. We now have a lot of variation here. And we have lighter and darker hair. Isn't that cool? I hope you're starting to get a feel for where we're going and what we're doing. You know, we're getting into this, and I'm going to have to let this dry for a moment. You know, because we've just added a lot of color and a lot of texture, and I don't want to ruin it. But we have this kind of duotone sky, and we have these buildings far in the distance, and we have our foreground here. Our character is kind of like standing either in a valley or something, like looking upward, or maybe they're on the other side of some mountains or something. Maybe they're on a hill. It's hard to say. And we got a wonderful backpack and these jeans and this very like 90s, 80s style like jacket. It might even be a leather jacket with some straps on it. And we got this wonderful bright hair, which really captures kind of that free spirit aspect I lend to a lot of my characters. And like probably a decade ago, I had this wonderful bright pink hair. I really liked it. I really liked it. It was a mistake. I was trying to dye my hair a different color, but I ended up with this super pink hair, this cotton candy colored hair. And, you know, there's nothing wrong with going ahead and kind of embracing that that was something that was, and also that it looks really good in certain conditions. So why not make some of my characters with that same hair, right? Mm. Just pop over here, yeah. Oh my goodness. You know, we've been moving right along, haven't we? So let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to add a few more details to this before we finish up, and then we're going to talk just a minute more about stories, okay? So what I'm going to do, now that we've had some time for this to dry, is I'm coming back to my big 2-inch flat brush, and I'm going to get a little more of that nutmeg brown. But I'm just going to kind of start to stipple with the large brush. I'm going to stipple it in our midground where this black is. You notice I'm not trying to be specific with how we do this. I'm going to bring my lock down really quick so I don't knock this around. But just with my large brush, I'm going to start to stipple and blot this nutmeg brown here in our midground. Now, because we already have that black there, and that black's still semi-wet, that's going to just really cause some interesting things to happen. But I don't want a lot of that nutmeg brown yet. I'm actually going to come and get a green and apply that. And this is just a standard Crafter's Closet green. Just a, Crafter's Closet green, nothing overly special. But I just want a little bit of it. And we're going to take our large brush that we're already using. I'm going to get a little green and a little brown on it. And I'm going to come through and I'm going to keep stippling here in what's going to be our midground. I'm going to make sure to overlay it slightly on this edge here. I like the way that looks right now. You know, right now it's just really messy. We do have some blank areas, but we got a lot going on. I like it, right? It's just fun. It's different. I'm saying I like it right, like you're going to tell me, yeah, we like it. I like it, yeah. When it's almost like I was just asking myself, that's silly. And right before we stop, I'm actually going to take some of this Jack-o'-lantern yellow from Apple Barrel. It's a 21472E. So this is Jack-o'-lantern orange, Jack-o'-lantern orange. I'm just going to put a little bit of that on here. I'm just going to grab a large flat brush. Just a large flat brush. Actually, it's a number 8, but a larger flat brush. I'm just going to grab that. And just going to come up into my sky here. And just add some of these wonderful swoops. Kind of making even more going on up there. And then I'm just going to grab some of my Parrot Blue really fast before we let any of this set. And I'm grabbing another number 8 flat brush. And I'm actually just putting some of that right here. Kind of bringing some of that blue into this yellow region. Just to bring some of that back. I have a feeling I'm going to go over this a number of times before we have our final piece. I'm going to set my palette down. Thank you so much, doesn't it? It looks really fun. It looks really great. This is the beginning of our wonderful character piece. Our homage to some of my fiction. Hopefully that looks right. I'm just going to turn that towards the camera so you can kind of see what our place is right now, where we are. I'm gonna work on this again, and I actually would like to go ahead and I would like to do another video so that you can see me finish this character piece, this wonderful character piece. I think that it deserves to be finished with all of you. But this is my homage to my original characters from my stories. And I'm just going to make sure that that goes out one more time, depending on whether you're joining me now or whether you've been here. But just sharing that again so that you have it available. And those are my links that you're going to see them in the chat or in the description, depending on where you're joining me. Please follow me on Twitch, and if you subscribe, it would be awesome. Just hit that little button for follow. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, ding that bell. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and do consider reading on Kindle Vella 30 Days in the Apocalypse with Dr. Ciencio Magnifico and Kindly Can We Go. 30 Days in the Apocalypse, of course, is a wonderful satirical comedy, a sci-fi dystopian apocalyptic action story with a harpooning of the concepts of social media and fame and stardom and all that comes with it, baked right in. You know, our obsession with likes and follows and all those things I'm asking for right now. So I'm targeting, you know, the whole gambit of it. And it's fun. And it's so much fun. And I think so many of you are going to find things to relate to with Kitty, of course, with the character Bam, with everyone in 30 Days in the Apocalypse. You're going to really like it. There are 5 episodes, maybe 6 available right now. Okay, thank you for being with us. Have a good one. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Enjoy the rest of your night. Thank you for joining us for Art Night. I'm going to be out of here in a minute too. But then, Kindly Can We Go is a wonderful urban fantasy with themes of friendship, with themes of wow, the word just shot out of my head. Self-sabotage. With these wonderful themes of self-sabotage. Now, it is a fantasy story, so there's some spooky, weird magic going on. And you don't know what's happening when the story starts, and neither does Kindly. It's all confusing. So please give it a shot. And if you read those stories, leave a review, like, and follow. Now, I'm going to get out of here. Thank you for joining us. And this isn't any one of those characters we talked about specifically, but it's capturing that essence of the strong women in my stories. So, thank you for being here. Take care. Be excellent. And I will see you all again real soon. And I will make sure to finish this painting on another live stream with all of you. Bye, everybody. Take care. And I'll see you all again real soon.